One of the things that drew me to come work here was that they had the door switch. I had worked in another state, in another hospital, and had had a patient who had committed suicide by hanging. And we had been checking on him regularly, and from the last time that we had checked him until he was successfully able to hang himself was 10 minutes. And he tied a sheet, threw it over the door, closed the door, used a chair, and hanged himself. And there was nothing we could do to get him back. We were in a full hospital, we had a code team, nothing. And so when I came here and saw that they had the suicide doors, it really helped put my mind at ease that I would have a reasonable degree of, I have to say that again, I could be reasonably sure that if the patients were not in my sight, that they could still be somewhat safe.
And you do 15-minute rounds?
We do 15-minute rounds. If we have, of course, people who are more suicidal than that, then we can have them either a line of sight or a one-to-one where someone is within arm's reach of them at all times. But in the case of the patient that I had who committed suicide, he was denying that he was currently suicidal.
Really?
So this provides us an added layer of safety and security for our patients.
One of the things we tell our customers is that the door switch is a tool for the nurses. It's not 100%.
No. We have still had, even with the suicide doors, patients try to find other ways to hurt themselves. But most of those have not been as lethal as hanging can be. And the patients that we've had who've tried to hang themselves, the alarm goes off and we're right there, and we can keep them safe. Units get busy, patients need things. Sometimes the reality of things is that you can't always be spot on every 15 minutes, and knowing that you have that added layer of security, you can't rely on it and say, oh, I don't need to do my rounds because I've got a suicide door, but it just helps. It helps you feel safer.
It gives you peace of mind.
Yes. Well, clearly the suicide doors are a great tool. I highly recommend them to any unit that's looking at them. At one of my previous employers, we actually had a joint commission person look at a standard door with the 3 hinges and say, isn't there something you can do about those? And at the time, this was several years ago, there wasn't anything available. But it is something that just gives me great peace of mind to know that they're there and to know that I have one more tool to keep my patients safe. Suicide doors and other safety features that we have that are part of the physical layout of the unit, we de-emphasize a little bit. It's more for us to know that it's there. Because quite frankly, to some degree, I feel that patients are very clever, and the more they know about how a device works, the more likely they are to try to figure out a way around it. And this is very unobtrusive. You don't look at the door and go, oh, there's something weird about this door, so that you know that it's they're not going to be trying to think of ways to defeat the door. They're just going to look at there. It's a door, and only if they start trying to find a way to hang themselves, then they'll find that attempt is thwarted. Doors are the same, and only a couple are substituted in that way. Patients often feel singled out, and they already feel often kind of on the spot when they're in the hospital anyway. They feel like nobody understands what they're going through often, and that they're alone, and things which make them feel more noticeable often make them feel more uncomfortable. And so these doors can blend in with all of the doors on these. Patients come to us where they are at their most vulnerable, and it is our job, and not just the law, but it is our job to make them better and to keep them safe. And if we don't have the tools to do that, then we can't do our job at our best. and we have to spend time in ways that are not helpful for the patients, that are not patient-centered. If we have the equipment that we need, then we can focus on doing the job that we're here to do.